of spectacularly mishandling the issue. Amid a growing row within the coalition itself, senior Liberal Democrats have sought to reassure the party that the new surveillance laws won't jeopardise civil liberties. Well, our political correspondent Adam Fleming has more.
The government wants the power to know who you've contacted, when and how, no matter what form it takes, whether it's by email, Facebook or Skype. Writing in The Sun today, the Home Secretary Theresa May says it's necessary to catch criminals, from terrorists to paedophiles, and it's only updating existing powers covering phone calls for the internet age. But Labour claim it's another example of the coalition getting their wires crossed.
It's unclear what they're proposing. It's unclear what it means for people. It's always going to lead to fears about just general browsing of people's emails unless they are clear about their proposals, clear about what they would mean, clear about how they're changing the law. And I do say to the Prime Minister, he's got to get a grip on this government.
Criticism has come from the government benches too.
I'm concerned that powers are being extended when the government came into office promising to restore civil liberties and to protect us from the encroachment of the state that was happening under the last Labour government.
On a visit to a car factory in Crewe, the Liberal Democrat leader tried to calm fears in his party.
Throughout all of this process, there are some very, very clear principles which I will make absolutely sure we stick to. Any measures will be proportionate. They will not sacrifice people's civil liberties. We will not create a new government database, and we will not give the police new powers to look at the content of people's emails.
The Home Office say they'll pass the necessary legislation as soon as possible, and they stress that to actually read the content of messages, instead of just basic details of when they were sent, the intelligence services will still need a warrant signed by the Home Secretary. Adam Fleming, BBC News, Westminster.
Well, our political correspondent Ben Gagan's at Westminster for us. What's the assessment then? We've heard the mood music there reflected in that report, but what is likely to happen next?
Well, I think the government clearly feel they've got a big reassurance operation to do here, particularly with some of their own backbenchers, as you were hearing in that report. I mean, Conservatives have been saying over the last couple of days they think these ideas would lead to mass surveillance on an unprecedented scale. And I think also that the Liberal Democrats, many of them, are going to find it very difficult to line up behind these proposals, which is why the Liberal Democrat Home Office Minister Lynn Featherstone has written to her party members to say that reports in the press about snooping on people's emails are complete nonsense. The difficulty that both the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats have is that when they were in opposition, they criticised Labour for its proposals to have some kind of a centralised electronic database. They also fought Labour on the proposal for ID cards, and on the way they were using the DNA database. And David Cameron said that Labour were not just operating a control state, but a surveillance state. I think the fear is among MPs is that ministers are being influenced by people they refer to as the securocrats in the police and the intelligence services. Now, as you heard there, the Home Office want to try and legislate this for this as soon as possible. But as the details of these proposals emerge, I think they will face growing opposition from MPs on all sides.
Indeed. Ben, thank you.